there's a tension through all of this, which is that while there's certain for-profits like you guys that will go the extra yard to show this data and so forth, because the market today, the purchasers don't necessarily value that. There's a lot of incentives for for-profits in there not to do much more or less than the current regulations. And as a result, certain competitors of yours can gain equal share potentially by not going this extra mile, which creates these weird incentives. And the challenge right now with for-profits in particular is because they can scale much faster than nonprofits because they can attract so much more capital in the marketplace, is that they can grow faster against these bad regulations and then create this poisonous dialogue that Jim talks about and always reminds me, is that when there's poison in the marketplace, the government's going to overreact, not have a subtle conversation about it. But here's the thing that we haven't talked about yet is why do we want for-profits in a marketplace? And it's that same poison of scaling against bad regulations, that ability to scale against a quality outcome is something that's intensely valuable that nonprofits more or less struggle with relative to for-profits. And so that's something
Why do nonprofits struggle with it?
So there's an obvious ability of for-profits to attract lots of capital because there will be returns for that capital, which allows them to scale and growth equity that they get. Nonprofits don't have that natural pathway. They're constantly going to people like Stacy or Jim when he used to be at the Gates Foundation and asking for one more lever up. And there's a limited pool of money there relative to what for-profits can do. McKinsey's done a study on this, and it's something like nonprofits spend 4 or 5 times as much time raising money as do for-profits. So there's a lot more focus on that. And you really want to utilize that ability to scale, and then what Eric talked about, the ability to get talent as well and incentivize people to come in. The interesting thing, I think, is that and Jim can talk more about this, I think, but in education, compared to other sectors, we do a really bad job of creating industry groups that put these performance metrics out across the entire field.